This is my workflow for YouTube, living in hotels 365 days a year. Stick around because once the workflow stuff is finished, I have some stuff that I wish I knew earlier that I'm going to share with you as well. So everything starts with ideation. This thing called ideation, which was new to me before I started making YouTube videos. I used to think when I would start writing, it just matters, pick a topic, write a headline, and start writing. It'll figure it out itself in the end. You can't do that making videos. And this is a mistake that I made myself. I would make a video that I think was really good, that it had a good idea, and then I would struggle to come up with, well, what's the good title for it? The title that I thought I was going to publish with doesn't seem to be grabbing anybody's attention. No one seems to care about it. So then you adjust the title and you adjust the thumbnail, and eventually you realize you don't have a really good idea. You don't have a succinct enough idea that's going to be really interesting for people to get their head around. So the first part of my workflow is to get the idea and to see if I can package it. By packaging, I mean title and thumbnail. If the title and thumbnail suck, then no one's going to click your stuff. No one's going to even see what it is that you make a video about. So the first thing I do is just get that right. Once I'm happy with that, and I go, okay, I think I've got an idea here. This could be something. This could be useful. I can put something together around this idea and around this thumbnail and around this title. Then I begin scripting. When I script, I like to actually write the important stuff down. I don't just do bullet points. I did that a couple of times, but it turns out to be a hell of a lot of stuff to edit through to bring it down and make it succinct. I don't like wasting people's time too much. So script the important things. I'll script the intro, I'll script the outro, and maybe a few things in the middle. But primarily, we're looking at a hook at the very beginning, something to get the attention and give people an understanding of what's about to come up. And then there'll be the body. What's this whole thing? What's the actual meat and potatoes of the actual idea we're sort of sharing? And then I always want to finish with, I used to have outro, but now I have the word feeling. And I want in my script, I want there to be a feeling at the end. I want to be able to bring it all back and land the plane. I want to be able to say the real point that I've been trying to make for the length of the video. So I have hook, which is like the intro, then I have the body, and then I have the feeling. And that leads directly to the end screen. The end screen is important because it helps people stay on your channel and see more about what you have on offer. Once I have that down and I'm happy with what I've got, I will then probably start setting up to film. I'll find a nice spot with some light. I'm in this room here in Vietnam at the moment, and we're here for about a month and a bit. So I can use this nice, easy location to film a bunch of different videos. I'll check that my gear's working right. I'll make sure everything's charged. The camera is charged, which is my iPhone. My laptop is charged, ready to go. There's nothing there wrong. I'll set the camera up, make sure that it's pointing in the right direction. I've said in another video, I use the screen share feature so I can literally see what the camera is seeing before I hit go. And then I hit record, and then that's it. And then we just film the bulk of the footage. Once the footage is done, I will then immediately make sure it's saved. I've made the mistake before of not saving it. And I say save as in it's already saved to my phone, but I haven't sent it as a secondary backup file to my laptop. So I'll always do that. And the audio is being recorded through this microphone here directly into my laptop. That's its own little file as well. And as a backup, I have the audio from my iPhone, which although it is more echoey, it still is okay in an emergency if for whatever reason this stuff's up. Because we're traveling full time, I don't have the ability to have too many extra things. I probably will get a small little microphone at some point soon so I don't have to be restricted to being indoors. But at the moment, this is the setup I've got. I'm happy with it. I'm not too stressed about it, and it works. Next is editing. Now, I mentioned that I'm going to do another video specifically about editing and how I have my workflow for my editing software. I use DaVinci Resolve. If you'd like that, please let me know in the comments. I'm not going to go ahead and make it if no one wants it, but it's evolved over time, me doing this. It's evolved, and I think I've got it down to a pretty easy workflow. Not too difficult at all to put together a quick video. So yeah, ask for that if you want it. And when it comes to editing, one thing I will share though is I use a 45-minute timer. So I'll just stick my phone next to me, hit 45-minute timer, do not disturb. And then when that 45-minute timer is up, wherever I'm at in my process, I'll take a quick break and I'll assess where I'm at and if I'm moving through the process fast enough. Because I like editing because it teaches me about what I know about a subject. At this point, there'll be a point soon where I'll probably get an editor to do most of my stuff for me because of timing and I want a higher production value. But right now, I learned so much from the process, I don't want to give it up. So the way I want to edit is I want to take care of my structure first, and I'm going to make sure that everything I've hoped to be able to convey is conveyed, and all the bits that I don't want to be in there have all taken out. And I squash that together. That's the basic. Once I have that it's pretty good. From here, we're only really doing things that I call highlight. So I'll go through and highlight titles and anything I think needs some emphasis on the screen. I can put little titles and things like that to give the feeling a bit more. Once I've done the highlight, I have another section which is called the 30, which is the 30 seconds, the first 30 seconds. So that first 30 seconds I've learnt is really important to get right, really important to spend some time on, to spend like a lot of time on. So you might watch the first 30 seconds of any video and there's more edits, there's more changes, there's more attention grabbing stuff than anywhere else in the entire thing. Now, I don't necessarily want to attract people who need all that attention grabbing stuff, but I still want to make sure I give a reasonable amount of energy to the first part of it to convey my idea so that a person knows what they're in for and if they want to hang around and watch it. So I spend a good chunk of time on that first 30 seconds. Now, if my 45-minute timer goes off and I've edited the structure and I've gone through and been able to put a couple of highlights together and it goes off, okay, I'll stop. I then evaluate, is it good enough yet? Usually it's not. Usually it needs a second pass. Hit 45 again and then go. And I know I'm just committing, a set amount of time. I've got an hour and a half here I'm dedicating to the edit here. So I know I've got 45 minutes left to hopefully get some highlights done and then get the first 30 seconds done. Now, if I get to the end of the first 30 seconds, I'm happy with where it's at. If I look at the timer and I've got more time left over, then which is the final piece, which is 2 minutes, the first 2 minutes. What can I put in that first 2 minutes so that anybody who's actually made it to the first 30 seconds, they might want to stay a bit longer? Can I improve it? Maybe put some B-roll, maybe add some more headings, maybe tweak it a little bit or chop it a little bit or edit it a little bit tighter so that it's a bit more cohesive for that first 2 minutes. So usually I get to the end of that and it's within time. If I need a little bit more time, I'll allow myself some more time if there's nothing else I have to do. But if business is busy and I've got things I need to do, that's where the edit comes to an end. And I'll just then move to the next section. The next section is I do 10 minutes of gloss. 10 minutes of gloss. So I've got a basic color treatment and I just copy and paste the entire thing straight onto the track. And that just covers the entire track and everything underneath it. Every little clip gets the same color treatment. So it might look a particular way. You're looking at this going, yeah, it looks not too bad. That's just one treatment. I might have done it a while ago and I just copy and paste the entire thing. Then with the audio, I just do some basic, I have some basic presets already done. I know my voice, I know my microphone, and I know roughly the kind of amount of compression I want to have to be able to make it sound nice. And I've already made sure the room's kind of quiet. If there's sound outside, that's okay. But sound inside, I try and keep it down low because this microphone picks up everything. And I just run some EQ and some compression. That's basically it. So I get all that done in my 10 minutes of gloss. And because I got the presets done, that actually takes like 3 minutes. Just click, 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 turn it on, listen, check, yeah, it sounds fine. If it's not fine, and I need to actually tweak it, maybe I'm in a different room, or maybe the sun went down halfway through and I need to tweak a section of it, I'll use that 10 minutes to adjust the color correction, just make it look a little bit nicer. Again, I'm not too stressed with the overall production at the end, but I want to give it a little bit of time and challenge my skills to see if I can make it look and sound a bit better. Then once I'm happy with the edit, if I think it needs music, I'll grab some music. I've got a folder of about, 40, 50 songs that I've spent a couple of sad days with some beer by the pub with this laptop, and I've just gone through with headphones and that's pretty cool. That'd be cool for an intro. And I've just dumped a bunch of stuff from, there's a couple of different sites you can use. So I've got a bunch of different music that I can use for intros, music I can use for the entire thing if I want, and some rises and a couple little sound effects and things like that. So I have a folder that's always there with that stuff. I never have to worry about that. So I can often record these things in my workflow. A lot of this happens on planes, on flights, or it can happen on a bus, or if we're traveling somewhere and I'm in a taxi or I'm in a car for a couple of hours. This stuff's easy, headphones and just work, chop, paste, do things like that. So I try and do this part of the workflow in times where I will be doing other stuff anyway, where I'm not too stressed. If my girlfriend wants to watch some movie that I'm not interested in, we'll put it on and maybe I'll just be editing in the background with just one headphone on and sort of half in the room. Other times, especially when I'm flying, I find you can really focus and get a ton of stuff done. And you land, at some point when you're flying, you lose the ability to focus. You land, you check into your hotel, you turn your laptop on and see where you got up to and realize that you've done tons of work without even really remembering it. And that's, I think, one of the best ways to edit. So once I'm happy with the main edit, I'll just export it, call it version 1. I'll stick it on my phone and I'll go and do something for a while. I'll go to the bar, maybe hang out with some friends, or maybe just go get some dinner, or maybe go to the gym, or go for a long walk, whatever. Or do some sightseeing. I'm a tourist after all. So I'll just go and do stuff. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to forget everything that I've just spent all that time and energy focusing on. And then once I think I've forgotten about it, I'll stick a headphone in or just listen to it like this, and I'll press play and I'll see what it's like. If there's a mistake that's really obvious that needs to be changed, I'll make a note and I'll adjust that later. But if it only has to be like 90% there. Little mistakes, little tweaks are not that important. No one really cares. So then basically I put the finishing touches onto my thumbnail, which usually is already created. I might need like an updated photo from the video, or maybe not. But I then get my thumbnail, I take my title, I take my description that I put together, and I'll upload and publish it to YouTube. Now, here's some stuff that I wish I knew earlier. First off, I put a lot of pressure on myself, and it stopped many good videos from being created because I thought they weren't going to be awesome. The truth is, even bad videos will grow your channel. If you're doing this for business, your business reasons primarily, aiming for perfect is a massive mistake that will prevent you from publishing videos. Publishing videos, that's how you're going to grow your channel. So take the pressure off yourself. Just do what you can with the resources you've got, with the gear you've got, with the time you've got, with the skills you've got. Just try and put videos out. You will learn from that. The second thing is I took way too much advice from massive channels early on. I made this mistake thinking aim for the big guys, and that way I'm going to get further so much faster. But so much of what they're talking about simply doesn't apply. Large channels have different challenges they're working through, and small channels have small channel challenges. Find creators a few steps ahead of you, channels a few steps ahead of you, and grow together. It also equals a lot less stress. So a note about shorts. I created some shorts originally. I went through and if you look on this channel, you'll see a bunch of different shorts. I stopped doing that. I don't think it's valuable for my industry, for my channel. It's just not really worth doing. Maybe at some other time I will do that, but I find people who become followers or subscribers because of the shorts don't usually transfer across into long form. And I'm sure if you've got your own channel or if you've experienced that, you would probably agree with me there. Number 4 on what I wish I knew earlier was how important packaging was. Packaging, thumbnail and title. I mean, if the idea sucks, then you don't have a video. You got to fix this before you write your script and before you record your video. Number 5, recording the video is the actual easy part. I had that all wrong. When I first started, I thought the recording bit was the hard bit, but it's not. It's the easy bit. As long as it looks kind of okay and the audio is kind of clear, that's fine. But an idea that translates into a good thumbnail and title, that's where the magic happens. Number 6, publishing timing doesn't really matter. So on social, for a long time, you had to publish at the right time or else you wouldn't grab the algorithm. YouTube seems to work its magic over days, not hours. So just pick the start of the window that you think your people might be online, come up with a publishing schedule, and just start. You'll see over time, over days, YouTube will try and start to find the right followers, the right subscribers, the right viewers for you. So it doesn't really matter as much, and they even say so themselves. Number 7 is about the YouTube Studio app. Now, looking at the data is useful, but also without enough data, it can easily become like reading tea leaves. In other words, it's giving you junk information. The percentages can be wildly off because you just haven't got enough impressions, you haven't got enough views. So don't spend too much time in the app. In fact, Ed from Film Booth even suggests to just delete it from your phone. It's more trouble than it's worth. Okay, the 8th thing that I have here is if you're doing this for business, you don't need to do tons of call outs for your programs or links. Do them only when it feels like it fits. When you have less than 1,000 subs, people will only really stick around if your ideas are good. They'll ignore bad production, but you've got to have good ideas. So keep your ideas good and people will seem to binge and they'll find your links when they're ready. If you spend your time in your videos promoting your links, no one will want to watch your stuff because it'll feel like an ad, it'll feel like a promotion, and no one wants to sit around and watch that stuff. The 9th thing here is I like to edit my videos, but it's much easier when you have long chunks of footage without breaks. It's way easier to edit that way. I prefer to script an outline and then have bullet points and then just riff. And there are parts that I write out word for word because I don't want to waste people's time and stuff like that. Now, I know some people are doing no edit channels with great success. I personally can't watch those channels. It just chews up my time. So I make videos for people with my tolerance. And what I wish I knew earlier was you make your videos however the hell you want to make your videos. If you want to put edits in, put edits. If you don't want to do edits, don't do edits. You get to choose what the hell you do. Don't feel pressure either way. Number 10 is that it's way easier than I thought. I really resisted making a YouTube channel because I thought there was just so much involved and it's way too hard and it would take too long to be able to get a skill level that I would be able to feel proud about. And that's kind of wrong because when your channel's small, you don't really have many people watching it, so you don't have to worry too much about it. You kind of have a lot of freedom. So it's way easier in that way because you don't have to stress so much. But number 11 is it's way harder than I thought because I thought I'd be able to have a great idea for a video, put it out there and people would want to see it. But it's not. It's to do with things like titles and thumbnails and that stuff. That's really tricky. That's really hard to get your head around of how to make that stuff interesting. But the process forces you to get better. It forces you to think about your own ideas and go, are these ideas really that good? Or have I been drinking my own Kool-Aid? The market will give you the real answers. So it's really challenging in that respect. You might work really hard on a video and put it out there and nothing happens to it. And you have to deal with the fact you've sunk time and energy into something and it didn't really work that well. So that's why it's hard. Number 12 and the last one is it's a lot of fun. It's a lot more fun than I thought it would be. I really thought it was just like creating any other type of content, but it's not. You're creating this living archive of stuff that people can find, and people who you don't know right now might come across you in 6 months' time, discover you, see something interesting, binge a whole bunch of your content and be right up to date with who you are, where you're at, what you're doing with your world, what you're doing with your business and how things are going, your perspective on everything, your ethics, your morals. And they might want to become a follower of your stuff for a long time. They could be a fan that shares your stuff with other people, or they might even want to become a client or a customer. So it's super fun because you've got all this possibility out there. And that's why I think YouTube is a lot more fun than I thought it would be. So I want to finish with the topic of time, or ROI, return on investment, because after all, we're all in business. So we really need to make sure that the energy that we're investing, we're getting something back. Now, when I first started, I was allowing up to like 15, 20 hours per video. I wasn't really concerned with the ROI at that point, but I'm aware there's a learning curve that you need to spend a lot of time in the early stages. That's where you pay the biggest price. And I was happy to do so. I wanted to learn and I was fascinated by the process. And you might be in that same situation now. But now that I feel like I've got a decent grasp on the important parts of putting together a YouTube video and growing a YouTube channel, I want to get that time down to like 4 hours, 3 hours tops. I think I can do a really good job in 3 hours. Anything less than that, and I don't think my ideas are cooked enough. The flavor hasn't really had a chance to really become as strong or as interesting as I would hope. So 3 to 4 hours is about what I'm looking for. And I think anyone can manage 3 to 4 hours over the course of a week to put together one good video. However, right now I'm doing something a bit different. I'm going to put out a few more videos a bit more frequently because I want to sort of challenge myself with my ability to put ideas down and craft those ideas and script those ideas. And I want to be able to put together a few more things for my newsletter as well. So I'll be putting a few more things out a bit more frequently at the moment. But for everybody else, my clients, people watching this who are just trying to get started, 1 a week is a pretty good number to aim for. Anyone can do 1 a week. And 1 a week will keep you on your toes. It'll challenge you and it will also grow your channel. Now, if you haven't watched the video about how I film myself while we're traveling full time for YouTube, you're going to love this next video. It's about how I film myself while traveling 365 days a year. But if you have seen it, I'll also put a video below in a second about my alternative method to goal setting. It's perfect if you like to achieve difficult things. I'll see you in the next video.